Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move today here in Europe. I'm Caroline Hepker alongside Tom McKenzie, and we're joined by Bloomberg's equities reporter Joe Easton. Good morning, Joe. Right, are we ready to dash into the weekend? We want to talk about sportswear today. Adidas, Puma powering to some gains. Why?
We are. So we've got the sportswear stocks higher today, this after Nike, or Nike, the old quarterly debate that we have on how to pronounce that one. But the Nike results basically were a little bit better than expected in terms of the outlook. So everyone was kind of negative coming in. There's been a big drop down in a lot of sales and margins over in the US, but essentially it wasn't as bad as feared, and Nike kind of predicting that they may have seen a bit of a bottom in some of their sales. So this is a positive update and a read across for Adidas, Puma. Those stocks gaining around 3 to 4% today. Puma actually extended up as much as 5%. JD Sports also rallying around 8% because they have this big partnership with Nike, selling a lot of their trainers, and therefore this is seen as a good move for the sector. Nike itself, just slipped there and got into Nike, was up 11% after the close. So big move and feeding through into Europe today.
Says Joe Easton, tugging on his high tops. Centrica, Joe, a potential new investment for Centrica. Yeah. How a market. Do you remember the Reebok with the pumps?
Yes.
Do you remember those?
Yeah.
And you physically pump them up.
It's got to be the bubble on the Nike trainers, the bubble.
The bubble at the bottom.
Yeah,
that
was my era. Oh.
Yeah, I remember I coveted the Nike pumps, and the parents would never fork out for them.
Trendsetter.
No, I never got hold of them. I always wanted them because you do the physical pump.
But I feel like back in the day, they were so expensive. I guess they probably still are.
Still expensive.
Still really expensive. Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, Centrica. Yeah, moving on. A nice segue to British Gas. Centrica. Now, this stock was a little bit higher, then went lower at the open after the FT reports that the company could be looking to take a 15% stake in the UK's Sizewell C nuclear project. This is after years of delays and months of drawn-out negotiations. So potentially, according to the FT, there will be a final decision on this. Now, Sizewell is a new nuclear plant that's over in Suffolk, and it's going to be costing around 40 billion quid, but it is actually one of the kind of clean energy investments that's seen as possibly the future of energy in the region, so therefore it's seen as a positive for the company. But given they would have to pay around £1.5 billion to take the stake, it is seen as potentially a negative on that side, so the stock kind of giving up its early gains.
I only side there on that story because of, if you understand the story well, of just how much the price for building that nuclear reactor has gone up. It's just staggering. The initial cost, I think it's more than double. Anyway, I have to check the figure, but it's a huge increase.
I did wonder why the SI came.
The SI came because of just how expensive £40 billion is for one nuclear reactor.
Does seem like a lot of money.
A staggering amount of money.
How many wind turbines could you get for that, do you think?
I don't know.
Well, how much of Suffolk can you power with 40 billion quid's worth of nuclear energy? Or does I don't know.
Just Norwich.
Right. We're getting diverted here. This is okay. Just a quick word on gold heading for a second weekly loss.
Gold heading for a second weekly loss. It is only off $200 from its record high though, but it is declining. It's down 1%, and we're seeing that coming through into the gold miners like Endeavour Mining in London, dropping around 3% today, giving up some of their gains that they have doubled in value over the past year or so. Gold miners, though, like Endeavour, weaker today.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.